Hey everybody, welcome to the Winedownsports weekly review. We're back at it. Second episode, 3 subscribers. I need more subscribers. Subscribe down below. We're just gonna get right into it to the NBA action. Great week, just great week just to know that basketball's back. Great week to know that you got football going on, you got NHL going on, you got the MLB playoffs, which is now heading into the World Series, LA versus Houston. Man, it's just been great. Great week for sports fans. I'm a sports junkie, just like I'm sure you are. So, but we're gonna get into it. Obviously the NBA action. That's what we're here to talk about. So we'll get into that NBA action. The big headliner this week would probably be injuries. Opening night, Patrick Beverly just whooping Lonzo Ball's ass. Just a lot of things, man. I mean, it's just. What else? The Greek Freak just going off. The hangover that the Golden State Warriors still seem to be on a little bit. The West is loaded as expected. Just a lot of stuff. So we'll just get right into it. We'll first start with the injuries. I mean, the injury to Gordon Hayward. I mean, just prayers for him and his family. Obviously, you never want to see that happen to a player. Just a freak injury. I mean, I just remember watching that, and I was just like, the instant it happened, it was just like, not to be inconsiderate or insensitive or anything, but it was just like, holy shit, this dude ankle is like going like in the opposite direction from his body, and it's almost like he's just like putting his hand over his head, like, oh man, like not even like in full pain, but I'm just like, I just can't imagine what that has to feel like. But I mean, that's just a freak injury, and I'm just so many injuries going on right now. I mean, obviously Jeremy Lin as well, Schroeder from Atlanta got injured today. You had Derrick Rose with an ankle injury. Just a lot of little injury. I mean, obviously Kawhi Leonard, he didn't get injured playing, but he's still out. So it's just been a lot of injuries, and you just don't want that in the game. It's a part of the game, but you just obviously want the best players out there, just performing and competing against each other. So I'm just hoping that, this kind of subsides a little bit. Next big story, Lonzo Ball, Patrick Beverly. Man, Patrick Beverly, just went in on Lonzo Ball this week. And the Lakers are just, I'm naturally a Lakers fan. I kind of jumped off of their bandwagon, you should say, when they traded D'Angelo Russell, because I was such a huge D'Angelo Russell fan. For me, he was like, once Kobe left, I was like, yes, this is the guy that I wanted them to draft. They drafted him, and I was like, okay, he's going to be the guy. Obviously, after the whole Nick Young incident, they kind of just wrote him off. But, for me, it was just like, they could have given him a real chance. I don't think he ever really got a real chance in LA, but oh well, it is what it is. But the whole Lakers, man, I mean, that team is just not making any sense to me right now, and they gotta trade somebody. And I think Brandon Ingram, if they can get any value, obviously Magic Johnson said he was untouchable, last year. I mean, he's looking touchable to me. He's looking touchable like a kid looks touchable for Once Upon a Time Michael Jackson, or how an underage girl looks touchable for R. Kelly. I mean, he is touchable right now. So, I mean, or Harvey Weinstein touchable. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, they need to get him out of there quickly. Boy, I mean, it's not looking good right now for him. Tonight against the Pelicans, 5 points. And, you can't have that from a number 2 pick. I mean, it's looking real busty right now. Like, real busty. But, I mean, obviously everybody's going to say it's only 3 games. But the West is so loaded, man. I don't think some of these play teams, they can't just, turn it on, like the Lakers, the Suns, the Kings, the Pelicans even. These guys can't just turn it on and just say, well, we're going to compete out West. I mean, these guys, the West is loaded. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's kind of hard to know who the 8 teams are going to be. That's how loaded it is. I mean, Minnesota looks good. Utah looks good. Portland looks good. Man, I mean, it's just, a lot of teams out there that just look good. The Spurs obviously do what they do. Golden State is going to be in the mix. The Clippers look all right. I mean, they look pretty good. Houston, what they're about, Yeah, I don't know. But we'll see how it is. But I mean, just Patrick Beverley just taking it to Lonzo Ball, that was a big hot headline. And, for me, with the whole sort of, I guess you could say, hating on the Lakers, but it was just funny for me to watch, and then to see LeVar Ball after just kind of, it's kind of like, like when like somebody beats you at something and you're just like, well, I got more money though. Yeah, you got more money, but you just got your ass whooped. I don't care how you put it. You got whooped, I don't care how much money you have. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun season to watch those guys anyway, because everybody, all the analysts before were like, oh, they're going to win 40, 35, maybe 40 games. Skip Bayless on Undisputed. I just have a gut feeling they're going to make the playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You got to win a game first. Well, they did win a game against the Phoenix Suns, but that don't count. That's Summer League. But anyway, Giannis Antetokounmpo, we're going to get into that right now. The Greek Freak is looking like a freak of nature right now. Had a conversation with a friend in the summertime, and that was my initial pick for MVP. Before Gordon Hayward went down, I sort of changed it to Kyrie Irving. Not sort of, I did. It's in my last video. I said I think Kyrie Irving's going to be the MVP. Obviously, a lot of things have changed since then. But, I'm going to stick with my pick. I still think, Kyrie Irving's, obviously the inappropriate comment he made the other day. So, right, what? Yeah, that one. Yeah. I think, Kyrie Irving, he's still just feeling it out a little bit, so he's going to get on it. But Giannis, man, this guy's come ready, and I like that. I like when people come ready. Like Denzel will say, I like that, I like that, I like that. Yeah, I mean, Giannis is ready, Obviously, Milwaukee, if he had another, just solid 1B player, I think that team would be, without a doubt, a top 3 team. I think they'll finish in the top 4 in the East. I think they're going to get to the second round this year because they will have home court. And I think that, he's due for a big contract. But at 22, the guy, that's crazy, man. I mean, for him to be only 22, and to be performing like that, I mean, that's big time. I mean, he has LeBron-like ceiling, for sure. And I think and I'm just going to say this on a limb, I think he might end up being better to the extent that he dominates the same way LeBron dominates, just in will and just kind of out physical in you. But I think his length and just when that jump shot really becomes even more secure and more pure, and I think he'll be unstoppable, man. I mean, honestly unstoppable. So yeah, Greek Freak, man, early MVP candidate. Just other things out there. I mean, Golden State, like we said, just kind of suffering from a little hangover right now. I mean, a lot of people. Me, I don't worry about the Warriors at all because when you watch games, all these games I've watched the Warriors play, like Houston, they were up 13, 14, okay, Houston makes a run and come back. It was never like the teams that they play. It was never like, okay, this team is just stopping the Warriors from what they want to do, not really that. It's more like the Warriors are just like, when you win 73 games, you win you go 16-1 in the playoffs. You've won 2 championships. You've got money. You've got every arena. Everybody wants to see you. You just have nights where you just like, you got to find something to rev yourself up, And I think this might sound kind of weird, but I think if they, let's say if they were 1-6 or 1-7 and people started worrying about them, then I think they're going to, that's something to rev them up, to go on a 30, 40 game win streak just to, because they can, and I don't care what anybody says, they can just do that and they can, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but that's just what, in my opinion, my theory on these guys. So I don't think that they necessarily, care about the regular season anymore now. Everything for them now is, certain matchups I think they're going to be ready for. Even the Houston matchup, I don't think that they were yeah, we got to go out there and just get this one, but obviously, it's the beginning of the season, 3 games, just wipe it under the rug. I mean, They might go 79-3 now, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, Brooklyn fans, Nets, we're looking all right. We are looking all right. I mean, obviously the injury to Jeremy Lin was big, but man, like I don't want to go on a limb, but let me go on a limb, barring any injuries. I mean, because obviously, everything they're running, depends on D'Angelo Russell. I mean, not just him having the ball, but the spacing is so pristine right now. Since preseason, their offense has just been clicking and they've just been 115 plus each night. I mean, obviously they give up quite a bit of points as well, but that could be misleading as well. It's almost like a Phoenix Suns back in the day type thing where they gave up, like you could score 109, but they'll put 130, 120 on you. You know what I mean? And it's like offense, defense. You know what I mean? Like where your offense is good enough to put enough pressure on people to score. And so, they try to keep up a little bit, but they can't. It's kind of like what Golden State could do, It feels like they're not playing defense, but defensively they're stopping you really, because when you look at it, they could be up 118 and you're at like 103, and that's a hard 103 for you because, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, you get what I'm saying. But Brooklyn, I mean, I like what they've been doing so far as well. I like how D'Angelo Russell is just, especially today's game that they played against the Hawks. I mean, obviously it's the Hawks, but, it was like a control game by him, you know what I mean? Obviously he had the 10 assists, and that's great. That's what you want to see. And sometimes he could get stuck in the points and whatnot, right? And thinking that that's the only way to impact a game, but he's doing so much, and he could have probably had like 14 assists. But me, obviously assists and stats can be overrated. I always say divided by half because you get the real assists. It's kind of like a quarterback. Like they'll throw for 300 yards, but real yards it's like 195, maybe 2. So yeah, but I just love his spacing and how he's dictating the tempo and even in the half court, and that's what makes these elite teams or great teams is can you score in the half court? And this is what I'm saying, like with some of these young guys, it's the half court is what, when you get to the NBA, can you get buckets when the defense is set, And so a lot of people compare like Lonzo Ball coming out of college, and this is where I was saying I think where he will struggle is when he gets in that half court, especially if he doesn't have shooters around him. Can he get those buckets or create opportunities, which is going to mean you have to be a threat to score to some degree, so the defense commits. But that's getting into X's and O's, and we're not talking about love here, so let's keep it rolling. The Clippers, they look pretty solid as well. I mean, I'm impressed what I see there. I'm impressed with Utah. I'm impressed with Portland. I'm impressed with Minnesota to some extent. Obviously, they're a lot talent heavy, so they'll just win some games off of talent. But still, I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with the Rockets to some extent. Like I said earlier, man, the West, man, it's just loaded. The Spurs, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with them from what I've seen so far. Oh man, it's gonna be a great year out West. You got to bring your A game when you're out there. You just can't come out in the West and just think, well, because I got XYZ, I'm gonna, it's just so many good teams out there, In the East, like I said, Toronto, I'm impressed with them as well, But Toronto this year, as impressed as I am with them, I just want to see them. They got to take it to another level this year, I mean, even if they make the Eastern Conference, it has to be a competitive one. It can't be like, 6 games, but we know all along the foregone conclusion, I want to see them. I want to see this year, like, it's like, okay, this year we're either the best team in the East, really, or it's arguable that we can be the best team in the East, meaning that when we get to that playoff, no grind me out first round matchups against XYZ, go in there and handle business. So, everything for me for Toronto is playoffs, obviously. Washington, same thing. It's like regular season. We know what you guys are about, but Bradley Beal, John Wall, you guys are now starting to get into those years where, it's like serious playoff run or it's a bust. You know what I mean? And especially in a weaker Eastern Conference. So I'm expecting big things from those guys. So I mean, obviously the next week coming up, just looking at some of the games here. I mean, just Monday's games. Nothing too interesting right off the bat on Monday. I mean, what I'll be looking for, I'll just kind of be browsing through and through. I mean, obviously we got Milwaukee and Charlotte. That could be a little interesting game. Obviously, two Eastern Conference teams that's trying to establish themselves in a certain way. I mean, Charlotte, I think this year too. I'd like to see. I mean, you guys have enough. Kemba, great talent. Dwight, obviously not a superstar anymore, but still a quality big guy that could go out there and get those rebounds and do what you got to do. I know they're missing Nicholas Batum right now, but I still expect them in the East to still, fit succeed, and be alive and be viable fit succeed. So that'd be a good one to watch. Spurs Raptors. I mean, that should be pretty good. You got Golden State Dallas. It'd be interesting to see if Smith Jr. plays. I don't think he played Saturday night, so that'll be a good matchup for the young rook. Going out there to going out and playing against the Warriors. So. And then you got Wizards Nuggets. I think I might tune in for that one for sure. I like the Nuggets. I love what they got out there. I mean, I was a big Jamal Murray fan. I just love you. Such a pure stroke. Harris, pretty solid. Yeah, the big guy out there for sure. Yeah, Millsap, all those guys. So it'll be an interesting Monday night. Kings Suns Summer League. Here we go. The Suns just fired their coach today. It's unfortunate. I mean, you never want to get fired 3 games in, but I think they had to do something, man. I mean, you can't lose 2 40-point games in the span of 3 games, and you can't. You just can't. I mean, you just can't do that. And I mean, I don't think it was necessarily that they wanted. I mean, Earl Watson's a good guy. I mean, he was a quality player when he played and just a fun energy guy. But the direction of the team is just so weird. Like, some of these teams are just built so weird. I know, like in the NBA, I know, in the NFL, I know you always say, like, take best player available in the draft, right? But, to me, I'm just trying to figure out how the Suns are constructed, like what's their thing, what's their identity. The same thing with Sacramento. It's like you go there and you get De'Aaron Fox, right? And you got him coming off the bench, and I understand that to some extent, but I think what's your real direction? What are you trying to do? I mean, I just never understand what they're trying to do. I mean, getting Buddy Hield, you got so much talent, and it's just not. Anyway, I just don't get it. Willie Cauley-Stein, how does he fit in with all of that? Obviously he's a big guy that's kind of a hustler out there, but I just never really understand it. But anyway, so that's Monday's lineup. For Brooklyn fans, Tuesday we're at Magic. Should be a good one. Obviously, it was a nail biter when we played the other night. D'Angelo Russell time for sure. The ice and the beans came out, but I think they're going to play us pretty hard in their hometown. So, hopefully if we can get that W, that'd be a good one, because we got Wednesday night at Cleveland, I think, or at Cleveland coming to Brooklyn. So, that's one where you got to be ready, because Cleveland can come out and just punish you real quick. Make it real easy, but nonetheless. But yeah, got some good matchups. Oklahoma, the struggles there. Obviously everybody was kind of big on Oklahoma as soon as they came out the gate and beat the Knicks. Obviously Carmelo against the Knicks, but I think they're going to be a good team. Of course, they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, it's just so much talent. I mean, Russell Westbrook alone would make you the playoffs, but I think they need to do more than that. If Paul George is going to stay and be a part of what they're doing there, but I think it's just going to take a little minute for them to gel. There's so many guys that are used to just handling the ball, you know, it's just some, you know, just I know everybody loves it, but I'm just a little concerned sometimes with just like how much I think Paul George needs the ball, or he's used to having it. Westbrook, of course, the usage rate last year probably unreal. Carmelo, you know, I think he's used to having the ball, of course, but I think he's probably the best to pair with Russ. Maybe they just don't need Paul George. I think that's just a little too much firepower, if that makes sense. You know, too much of a good thing could be a bad thing sometimes, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, just looking forward to week 2. We're getting into it. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We only got 3 subscribers. We need some more. We need some more. Let's go. I'm also on Twitter at Winedownsports. Heineken, the beer tonight. Heineken, subscribe to Winedownsports. You're getting a free promo. Let's do it. Week 2. Let's get into it. I mean, this is just a great time, man. Sports fans, enjoy this time. This time of year comes around once a year. We get every single sport that you want to watch on any given night. Basketball, football, hockey, if you're a hockey fan. You know, not too many black hockey fans out there, but anyway, it's out there. And some MLB, so let's go. Week 2, Brooklyn Nets fans, look for a video. Gonna be loaded up Tuesday morning. So, you know, be ready for insight before the game. So let's go. Get it. Love you guys.